Dogs.
Ruff, 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 ruff. Guess what? Worst year of our lives.
It is the worst everything of everything that's ever happened.
Wasn't great.
This was like,
but that's what we're here for.
This was one of the worst booked shows I think we've seen so far.
It was a tough one.
It was just real messy, real sloppy.
Nothing went long except one thing.
Which is not the thing you would think would go long.
No.
Especially considering one of the participants.
No, absolutely. It's kind of surprising, actually. But we're here. It's April 24th of the year MM. Going all Roman Nooms. We're coming to you from Rochester, New York. Major market adjacent.
Major market accessible.
7,700 in attendance. Couldn't find how many comps. I'm going to assume somewhere in the range of 7,700.
No one paid for this show.
This is a free show. And they couldn't even fill it.
Yep.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Emanating from the home of the American Hockey League's Rochester Americans.
Drew, we talked about
another exciting episode.
We
of
canceled
Drew's
this
Minor
segment.
Hockey League Corner.
Drew, have you looked at... Have you... No, and look me in the eye and answer me this. Have you looked at our quarter-hour ratings for Drew's Minor League Hockey Corner? They're in the fucking toilet.
Scott, I need to tell you something. This podcast is the Big Bang Theory of podcasts. I am the young Sheldon of this podcast.
No. So you're gonna...
Because of you, I now exist.
You made me. You're inside me. So when we're done this, you're gonna spin this off?
Yeah.
Into just Drew's Minor League Hockey Corner?
I'm just gonna... No, but it's just gonna be professional wrestling and minor hockey crossovers.
So it's just going to be
only when the two
jerseys
come
that
together.
Norman Smiley is wearing, basically.
Or when they're in American Hockey League arenas.
Okay, yeah.
Which is all the time.
Which is
most of the time.
Which is the rest of WCW.
Yes.
All right. Good. We're set for another year.
P.S. Young Sheldon's a good show. Said no one under the age of 50.
Yeah.
My
you know what I
mom loves that show.
Kids with autism.
Do you know what I didn't get to ask David Shore on Tuesday?
Oh shit, I forgot.
Didn't get a chance.
You met creator of House and
The Good Doctor?
Doogie Howser MR.
The Good Doctor, aka Doogie Howser MR.
Good times.
But you didn't get to ask him that?
I did get to ask him
That's too bad.
I also didn't feel like the room would be very appreciative of me asking that.
Look, if you asked it and nobody laughed but you, still a success.
Fair. I guess I could have slipped him a note on my way out.
Hey, David Shore. Here's a funny retard joke I made up.
Here's a funny joke my friend made up. I'm not taking credit for this.
Alright, let's move on to wrestling.
Do we have to?
Hey, mental retards and wrestling go hand in hand, Kelly.
That's true. We wouldn't have an audience. Oh, alright. I guess we gotta do it.
That actually kind of comes up, though, in something that happens tonight. We'll get to that.
Sure.
When we get there.
Are you calling David Arquette mentally retarded?
No.
So before we watch this, there was a proposal laid down by one Scott Patricia Henson
Scott Patricia Heaton.
that if the show opened with a Jeff Jarrett promo,
We would just turn it off.
as soon as we heard Kid Rock's Cowboy, podcast and Nitro over.
Yeah, just turn it right off. Oh, well, I said Nitro over. I thought we could maybe still do the podcast and just talk about what we think might have happened.
Sure, fantasy booked this episode of Nitro.
Yeah, we wouldn't have done worse.
We wouldn't have known David Arquette was coming to this show.
That's true.
So
we didn't open with a Jarrett promo. That's why you're hearing this podcast right now.
that is why we have things to talk about. This show started with what has become a staple of the 2000 Bischoff Russo era, which is one wrestler looking for another wrestler in the back.
A lot of wandering the halls.
Which started with a Sting Vampiro brawl.
Less wandering the halls, more decking the halls. I'm a Christmas guy.
You're a Matthew Broderick.
Ooh.
Danny
DeVito? I want to say Danny DeVito.
Vehicle. So it started with them brawling in the back. We then get the commentators at ringside. commentating on...
Is one of the family's names the Halls in Deck the Halls? Is that the thing?
I've never seen it. I have no intentions of seeing it ever, so... Here, I'll look.
Yeah.
If I knew where my phone was, I would look. So the commentators are waiting for the show sort of to begin, bring up the fact that at the end of the last Nitro we saw Bret Hart storm his way to the ring with a chair with Hogan and...
Swing it!
And then we immediately go off the air, so we don't find out, and the commentators say...
Also don't know what happened.
Yes, the commentators who sit at ringside...
Commentators who are instructed to close their eyes and plug their ears as soon as it goes off the air, so they know as much as us. Luckily, this was totally paid off, this episode, except it wasn't.
Danny DeVito's family's name is Hall.
Yes!
So what
That's a good title.
That is pretty fun.
Because you wanted, and they're like sort of the bad guys, right? And,
yeah, I guess so.
And you want to deck the halls.
Yeah,
that's fucking
like,
good.
The idea is like you want to like
back
have
when
a fun
movies
Christmas.
were movies, back when America was great.
Yeah,
we got Deck the Halls,
which we've all seen.
Yeah,
Deck the Halls, greater than, equal to, or less than. What's the Tim Allen?
I was just thinking about that. Christmas with the Cranks. Yeah, we did it.
I've seen neither.
We'll see you next time, guys.
That was our Christmas edition.
Yeah. April 24th, Christmas edition.
Anyways, so this show surprisingly didn't start with an in-ring promo.
It started with a fucking match.
With a match. Granted, it wasn't much of a match.
It was a fucking nothing match.
It was very short.
It was a match. It was a match as Vince Russo defines a match.
Yeah, limited
not
wrestling.
A match.
It was a hardcore title match between Terry Funk and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Terry Funk comes out with no title belt.
With no title belt because it doesn't exist.
Bam Bam, who we saw wandering earlier while Sting was wandering.
Vampiro were fighting.
Bam Bam made his way out, hit him with a trash can.
Which attire Bam Bam did we get this time?
Bam Bam's rocking a generic t-shirt and tights.
Yes.
WCW, just a Nitro t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he maybe he doesn't have any of his own
He might
gear.
not have. He might not have. Like, he wasn't really a thing. He was just a guy on the roster.
Yeah. When he first debuted, they tried to make him a thing right at first. Like, they were going to feud him with Goldberg.
Yeah.
And then just kind of quit on it.
Yeah.
Because, like, Goldberg had other shit going on,
They quit on a lot of things.
They did.
This match began with the Cat running in to attack Terry Funk, who then got punched by Bam Bam, and then just stayed in the
hung out in the aisle for a while. Yeah.
This match was literally nothing other than...
The finish was great.
The Cat hitting a cartwheel kick that I don't think Bam Bam knew was coming.
Well, that's because it was a cartwheel, and people don't normally hit you with a cartwheel. Because it looked like he was going to do a cartwheel and then kick him.
Something, sure.
But the cartwheel was the attack.
Yeah.
And Bam Bam was not ready. He hit him.
He did blast him with it.
He got him good.
Yeah.
And Terry Funk, who heretofore had been hanging out with a garbage can over the top half of his body, fell backwards
onto Bam
Bam, pinned him to retain the title.
Match over.
Then Cat danced.
Cat danced, whatever. Who cares? After this, we did get the reveal of Bret Hart Hogan, which was Bret hitting Hogan with a really mean chair shot.
Yeah, got him
because
good.
Because, like you said, if Bret's brains are scrambled, he's going to make sure everyone else's brains are scrambled.
I have to have pudding head. Everyone has to have pudding head. You get a pudding head. You get a pudding head. You all get pudding heads!
From there, we get a Kidman in-ring promo where he challenges Hogan for later tonight, and he's got his ribs taped because he went to the Diamond Dallas Page doctor's office where you just tape your ribs.
No matter what your ailment is, the doctor will tape up your ribs tightly and say, let's revisit this in 8 months.
Then we get a series of just Bischoff, Kim Page, Jeff Jarrett arriving, cutting an in-ring promo, which is kind of in the separated by a Norman Smiley Vince Russo promo in the back where Norman says he wants to face Terry Funk. So in order to make it fair for Norman, Russo says to find a partner, and him and his partner can challenge Terry Funk for the hardcore title at Slamboree.
Sounds
sure
legitimate.
I believe his partner is Ralphus.
Ooh, I think you're right.
I think it's Ralphus.
I think you're right.
Then during the in-ring, then we got the in-ring Jarrett Bischoff Kim promo.
DDP comes
They call
out.
it DDP, who is wearing an Einstein shirt.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Kim hands him divorce papers, and Paige says he's going to sign them after he crams them down Bischoff's throat, which then leads to a brawl.
I said if Paige gave the divorce papers a diamond cutter, we were going to throw a party.
Yeah.
Regrettably
which
did not.
Then leads to David Arquette, who was in the crowd, jumping into the ring and throwing really, really bad punches at Bischoff's body.
Yeah. And weird, like, shuffly kicks.
Yeah. And then,
as I said, like, he's very new right now. He's green. He hasn't been to much training. He's going to be much better when he wins the world title
in
3 days from now.
Then you get a canyon save, whatever. Arquette says that he's going to challenge Bischoff to a fight later tonight. If he wins, then he has to give DDP a title match against Jarrett later in the night in the strategically placed cage that is hanging above the ring.
Yeah.
And he agrees, much to the dismay of Jarrett.
Yeah.
The only highlight of this was Bischoff referring to him as Mr. Courtney Cox.
That was good.
That was
a good
good.
line.
We then get a backstage segment.
Also, for those keeping track, Eric Bischoff's still fat.
Still fat. We get a backstage promo where Chronic bullies Vince Russo.
Kelly, tell us about Chronic's fashion.
I'm going to say matching leather pants.
Yeah.
And matching long sleeve mesh t-shirts.
It was hot as fuck.
Yeah, it was real 2000. They were really into that underground S&M scene.
Yeah.
Why is there no tags on mesh t-shirts? Also, why are there mesh t-shirts?
We go to commercial, we come back. We get another Eric Bischoff, Jeff Jarrett backstage bullshit where they're talking about the matches that are going to happen later.
Yeah.
Then,
the first half of the show was a real setup for the second half of the show.
Yeah. Then we get Sting looking for Vampiro again in the back.
Yeah, because we haven't seen that yet.
Next up is a mixed tag. Chris Candido and... Her name's Tammy, right? Just Tammy?
I think just Tammy.
Tammy against the Artist and Paisley.
Is it too much to ask for just one episode, just Chris Candido have a good opponent?
It is too much to ask. You are wrong, sir.
Yeah.
I literally, for the notes, just wrote down worthless, sloppy, dumb pin.
The match, it was a nothing match that accomplished nothing.
It was super messy. Tammy did a top-to-floor plancha onto the two guys.
Well, mostly onto Candido.
Mostly onto her husband.
I don't trust the ethnic to catch me, so I'm going to trust the druggie to catch me.
Yeah. Oh, Tammy cut a real pilled-up promo before the match. Yeah, that was good.
Real incoherent ramblings about what men want, and then took off her robe to reveal normal clothes.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, I thought this was going to be like scandalous and scantily clad.
Tits a-poppin'.
Yeah,
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I got a hard as fuck.
This match was sort of the beginning of the evening's matches where there's like poorly placed people, like somebody standing in clear view of
garbage
something,
positioning.
or like the ref clearly see. Like there was a spot where Candido goes to clothesline the Artist, and Tammy standing behind the Artist, and Paisley standing behind Tammy.
Yeah.
And the Artist and Tammy both duck, but like really crappily.
Yeah.
And then he
closes off
Paisley, and just like it was a mess.
Yeah. And that was the finish, basically, right?
And then the finish was Tammy standing over top of her and dancing, and then just
falling on her knees.
like kneeling down on her.
And where did Candido and Artist go?
To the floor, I
Just,
think. I think they just crawled to the floor. Yeah. And then Candido just kind of came back in the ring, and they hung out.
Yeah, in terms of positioning and stuff, the term ring general was not used a lot during this broadcast.
Or really any time during this.
Or ever. I mean, it still happens now.
I mean, we'll be using it when Hugh Morris changes his name.
Sure.
Because he becomes literally a ring general.
We get more Sting searching for Vampiro in the back, which then leads to Sting coming to the ring, and Candido and Tammy are still celebrating. Tammy stumbles into Candido, who is looking away from the entranceway, confused as to what's happening.
Why is Sting's music playing?
Why is Sting's music playing? This isn't my music.
Sting's music plays. Tammy sees him coming out, and she
does not tell her husband.
Ooh, but she's like, ooh, and she's backing up, and she's bumping into Candido several times.
She turns into Lassie, just like, what is a girl?
And then she bails out, and Candido's standing there with his back still to Sting going, what
What are you doing?
Is there a face-painted 48-year-old man coming to the ring? What?
And then,
gives him the Scorpion Death Drop, which Candido bumps pretty good for.
which you're just falling back.
Yeah, and then Sting challenges Vampiro later tonight.
I guess Sting is kind of old here. Like, I kind of picture, like, this is Sting's prime. It's not, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's like 40.
He's early 40s, mid 40s.
Yeah,
Because
goddamn.
now he's, what, 59?
57 or 8.
So, yeah.
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 Goddamn. Yeah, so Sting's old. Okay, heads up, guys. Sting's old.
This is so Sting challenges Vampiro for later tonight for a first blood match, which
Yes.
Anybody that knows anything about 2000s WCW, this is the beginning of the worst thing that happens for most of the summer.
The worst year of your life.
Um,
Call back to the title. It's like when they say the title of the movie in the movie, people get very excited.
that is true. I do.
Yeah,
I often bump Kelly and go, they said it. They said it. They did it. They did it.
I remember, the best one of those is the recent Paul Thomas Anderson Oscar-nominated movie when Daniel Day-Lewis says, "Whoa, that was a real phantom thread," and the crowd erupts. It was great.
Joyous applause throughout the whole theater.
Then he puts the sunglasses on.
Yeah. while the Who play.
Yeah. Tools off on a skateboard. Yeah. The Who plays. Yeah, you guys should watch Phantom Thread. It's really good.
So after this, we get Lex Luger's theme plays. Luger comes out in full gear.
And with a new haircut.
With a new haircut, with Elizabeth, followed by Ric Flair in slacks and a polo shirt tucked in.
Drew, it's 2000. You don't need to say tucked in.
I'm sorry.
The tucked in is implied.
A polo shirt and slacks.
No one is not tucked. Never not tucked.
I don't know about you. I assumed it was either just the Luger match or it was a promo.
Yep. Reasonable assumptions.
Little did we know
It was
that
a tag
after
team
this,
match.
Chronic's music played.
Chronic is the best.
Which we all popped for because we're like, not only is Chronic the best,
Yes.
but it was Chronic in the ring with Lex Luger and Ric Flair.
Yes.
Which made us go, this is going to be
a very
insane.
exciting turn of events.
We were wrong.
Chronic spelled wrong on the title card.
Well, why would you bother to learn how to spell your new up-and-coming tag team?
Kronic.
Yeah. This match...
Which reminded me of how in 1999 it took them 12 times to spell Blitzkrieg properly on the title cards, often using a C in that also, Blitzkrieg.
That's where a bunch of you just run at Craig really fast, throwing a bunch of punches.
Hey guys, Blitzkrieg! Fuck Craig.
This match started with them brawling, and then...
Seriously, fuck Craig.
Fuck Craig.
Yeah. Don't do moves you don't know how to do.
Oh, we don't. Hey, who's to say which Craig?
Yeah, it could be any Craig.
Yeah. Could be freelance wrestling superstar Craig Mitchell.
He's pretty good, though.
He is pretty good. Don't fuck that Craig.
Unless you're a sexy woman, then go for it.
Fuck the shit out of him.
This match started with them brawling to the floor with no bell.
Yeah,
Then
brawling for a while.
Then Buff runs down and gets on the apron, and the
bell rings, and we're like, that was an odd
so they're like,
DQ.
why would you DQ Buff for getting on the apron?
This was, in fact, to signal the beginning of the match.
Douglas slides in, cranks Flair with a pipe. The match was 13 seconds, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they go to do the what's
High Times.
They go to do high times on
Flair.
No, on Flair.
On Flair, which we thought was going to be. We're like, oh, this is a thing.
Yeah.
Flair went up real big and took the bump really well.
Yeah,
completely shocked by it.
First and last, flush, flat back bump Flair's taken since 1976.
Yeah. It was real good. After this, we then get Chronic turns on Buff and Bagwell, or Buff and Douglas, because they have been requesting the title match that they were guaranteed by Russo for helping them at the pay-per-view, which Russo has been reluctant to give them. The next up is Vampiro in the back cutting more god-awful promos because he doesn't know how to talk. And he's got a weird, dumb accent.
And I believe
he's got a shit Canadian accent.
He has a what's that old time saying when you stick someone?
Well, they were talking about blood.
Yeah.
So,
when you take something that's pointy and you jab somebody with it like a pig, and then the blood starts just pouring out. A stuffed pig.
Yeah. Sting, you're gonna bleed like a stuffed pig. Got him.
What are we stuffing the pig with? Or dicks?
More blood.
You're just gonna like put an IV into it, like, so the blood just constantly flows through the pig. Smart man.
Pig dialysis.
Smart man.
Blood owls.
After this, we get more setting up of matches for later in the evening, with a bunch of Eric Bischoff, Mike Awesome, Kidman, Tori Wilson.
By the way,
bullshit.
I appreciate hyping something before it happens, but you're running out of show and you're still hyping things.
Yeah. So next,
you have to do something sometime.
That sets up that it's Awesome bodyguarding for Kidman.
Yeah.
Against Hogan. Hogan has to find a partner. He doesn't.
Yeah, was that even established?
That was established.
It was sort of established.
They told Hogan to find a partner, and Hogan couldn't find a partner. So it was Awesome and Kidman versus Hogan. Most of the match was Awesome versus Hogan.
And it went on for 15 minutes?
Most of the match was Awesome and Hogan. Most of this show was this match.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This was long.
Which is not a thing you would expect. I said that...
This is the longest... Yeah.
This is probably the longest Hogan match on a Nitro or Thunder, not like Give a Wrestling on Thunder.
In years.
Yeah. Because it was mostly bullshit run-ins, 3-minute fuck-arounds, or just no wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, Hogan would just be in the ring with all the NWO beating down somebody or cutting promos. Right? Like, other than, a few, the Goldberg title match, but, that wasn't...
I don't think it was long.
No, but, that's,
an actual match.
One of the only times I can remember him wrestling on Nitro.
Yeah.
This was, the longest match he'd probably had.
Yeah, this had to go 10+.
This was probably longer than most of his pay-per-view matches.
Yeah.
There was a blatant low blow in front of the ref, as usual.
Yeah.
Hogan takes another really mean dome shot with a chair.
For those keeping score,
Kidman.
Hogan has taken a mean chair shot to the head all 3 episodes of the Russo-Bischoff era.
And
they're trying to get rid of him.
Please let this continue.
They're trying to get rid of him.
And Hogan continues the trend of being the worst face of all time.
Hogan is a cheat.
Back race.
A liar.
Choking.
Stomping on guys.
And a fiend.
Boot scrapes.
Boots are choking.
Yeah. This led to us wondering, jokingly, oh yeah, Hogan's going to take an awesome bomb, right? We're like, yeah, Hogan's taking an awesome bomb. Yeah. And then I joined, off the top. Yeah, Hogan took an awesome bomb through a table.
Not off the top, but...
I mean, he sandbagged the fuck out of it.
Yeah. But he took a power bomb through a table.
And then he took a top rope splash from Kidman through a table.
And then he fucking put over Kidman, brother. So this is the Kidman pin over Hogan we have been
alluding to for a couple
weeks. A 2-on-1
and praying for.
A 2-on-1 involving several tables.
Yeah, it's Hogan Kidman singles at Slamboree. I'm pretty sure Hogan just kicks his ass.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, as the match is happening, Nash arrives at the building.
Because he couldn't show up on time.
It's Kevin. Come on.
What a piece of shit.
K-Nash shows up when he wants to show up.
You have one thing to do today, Kevin.
He gets a phone call from Triple H.
And you couldn't make it by 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. He shows up, he sees what's happening on the monitor.
Very slowly comes to the ring.
Very slow. Very nonchalant, casual.
Yeah.
Stops at catering, runs into one of his buddies.
Terry's got this.
Has a quick little conversation. Maybe he's flirting with, one of the Nitro girls.
Yeah.
And then goes oh yeah, I was going to the ring.
Oh yeah, something I was supposed to do
Gets to the ring, immediately gets low blowed by Tori, and then gets beat up by Mike Awesome.
How's Tori's hair?
Straight. She got any letters.
She did. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but I have been. I put a quotation marks lake housing with 2000s WCW. As you'll recall, that's where you Carl. That's where you call Carl twice.
Carl Reiner.
As you'll recall, last week I was not thrilled about Tori Wilson's new curled hair, so I wrote a quick missive. I threw it in my good word, right? Threw it in my magic mailbox at my lake house, and clearly it was received by WCW management between April 17th and 24th, 2000, and they straightened that bitch's hair, and she looks great again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Then from here we get more bullshit backstage DDP Arquette Canyon stuff. Which leads to, of course...
Which leads to Arquette putting on a sweet velour shirt.
Yep. We now get Bischoff versus Arquette.
Right.
which...
Because there's one thing I love. It's two non-wrestlers wrestling each other.
Especially a fat one and, like, a really uncoordinated skinny one.
Yeah. Just real, like, this is his first time using his limbs kind of guy.
Bischoff came to the ring wearing a sleeveless t-shirt.
He's rad.
Track pants.
Track pants, of course. This led to...
really upping the guys not wearing gear quota on the show.
Most of the people didn't wear gear on the show. Why bother?
Like, there was no reason for Ric Flair not to wear gear. He knew he was in a match.
He wears gear for several years in WWE when he's in worse shape.
Oh, yeah.
When he's fat and old and saggy.
But this is WCW 2000. Who gives a shit?
But he's still in reasonably decent shape.
Who gives a shit?
I know. This was a series of Bischoff doing offense on Arquette.
Yep.
And Arquette not really knowing how to sell.
Yeah.
Or, like, not bothering to sell.
Yeah.
Because, like, he got him in the corner and gave him some strikes, and he just, like, sort of acted like nothing was happening.
Yeah, he was doing, like, some approximation.
What's his motivation, man?
I know.
What am I, give me some direction.
And then
he's a classically trained actor.
Bischoff got him down to the ground and was, like, stomping on him a bunch, and Arquette was, like, just kind of, like, closed, like, had his eyes closed and just, like, laid there.
He was sleeping.
And then pulled himself back up in the corner. Bischoff's taunting. We get a nice, like, spear or whatever. Arquette then does the full-on worm.
Yeah.
With crotch chops.
It was amazing.
And then drops an elbow.
Yeah.
A very excited elbow.
Very excited elbow. This then leads to a series of, attempted bullshit and then a low blow in front of the ref again.
Yeah.
And then the finish, which I forgot to write down because I was so mad, which was Jeff Jarrett coming in the ring with a guitar.
Yes.
But when Jarrett got in the ring, Arquette was picking up Bischoff and made direct eye contact with Jarrett with the guitar.
Yeah.
Then pivoted his body so his back was to Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jarrett
swings the guitar.
Spins it around. Bischoff grabs Arquette, and then it's
ducks.
like, he's gonna hit Arquette with his guitar. Bam, hits Bischoff, which causes Jeff Jarrett to stumble and fumble. Like,
couldn't believe it.
Oh, I hit him.
Canyon's in.
Canyon makes too many appearances on this show.
Canyon makes 3 run-ins on this show.
This is the most Canyon's ever had to come to the ring in the history of his wrestling career.
And not wrestle.
So he dumps Jarrett. Arquette gets the lazy pin on Bischoff.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations! Now we get a title match in the cage later tonight.
We were really hoping that Bischoff would win and they just wouldn't do the match.
It's amazing. I'd be so happy with that. From there, we have backstage celebration of the faces. We then get the backstage argument of the heels, where Eric Bischoff is completely no-selling that he just got hit with a guitar.
He's fine.
Yeah. He's totally fine, 100% fine.
He's got a bottle of water.
Looks like he didn't even break a sweat.
No. He's in karate shape.
Next out is a Scott Steiner promo. Not with Steiner Brothers' face theme anymore. He now has the sirens and the I don't know, hip hop and
the beats. The siren goes on for a long
time.
Yeah.
He comes out with his hoochies, who he then calls out.
But not Tylene Buck / Major Guns, who appears to be a backstage interviewer now.
Yes, now, interviewing other baby faces and stuff.
Weird.
Then he calls out Booker for what Booker did last show, which was break up the Steiner recliner in the title match.
We were waiting for Steiner to say the N-word.
I mean, I'm sure inside he was saying it. This led to Booker calling the Medeja and the other one
Skeezes.
Hoochies and Skeezes.
Good one.
Then one of them slapped him. So, as the super baby face that the crowd loves, of course, you need to grab that bitch by the throat.
Punch a woman.
Steiner breaks it up. They do some brawling and shit, and then security breaks them up, and then they go to commercial to come back. Security breaks them up. Next is Buff and Douglas about to leave the building for the night.
So they're in their street clothes.
Which they were in earlier in the night anyways.
Like, the amount of time they have to refer to people that are in their street clothes, like, we get it.
We know.
Don't want to put on
You don't need to draw attention to it.
You don't need to keep fucking talking about it.
Russo stops them and tells them reluctantly that they have a tag team title match against Chronic because he had to do what he had to do. You know that you're a heel authoritarian figure, so you don't have to do anything because there's no face authoritarian figure above you telling you what to do.
You're in charge.
But whatever, that's fine. He can book a match with his guys against the guys he doesn't want to book him against. if you think that this match didn't have a million baseball bat shots and a bunch of bullshit, like clusterfuck people just like bumping into each other and standing in the wrong place, and you would be wrong.
Oh, this had the worst positioning of the night.
Yeah, this had the Shane Douglas.
This was horrible.
Yeah. So the match was nothing really. It was Brian Clark bumping way more than he should have.
Yeah, it's around here we decided that Brian Clark looks really cool.
He looks cool. He's got a cool look, but like the fact that you're building up this like big powerhouse tag team,
and
they shouldn't be bumping.
They're selling a lot.
And Brian Clark for the first like 3 minutes of this match just gets bumped around.
Yeah.
But then at one point he takes like a shot from Douglas and then just decides to like, well, now I'm like a monster who no sells, so and then just starts beating them up.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I can do this.
So this leads to like the hot tag to Bryan Adams, and then they're bumping him around and whatever. And then Russo's decided he's seen enough, so he comes in and cranks Bryan Adams in the back with a bat.
Yep.
No.
Which then Shane Douglas stands up.
I hate that Vince Russo is still alive.
Yeah, because
I hate it.
Because
he should be. I wish he had died in 2001.
I agree.
Clark grabs Russo and sets him up for the meltdown, and he's facing Shane Douglas,
looking at him.
So Douglas runs around him, picks up the bat,
and hits him with the bat. And he allows him to do that.
Holy fuck!
Yeah.
Like
it looked horrible.
Then
it was embarrassing.
Nick Patrick, who took a bump out of the ring before all the bat stuff, gets back in the ring to end the match.
Yeah.
And Russo gives him the meanest bat shot.
Yeah, just
like right in the kidneys.
Like 1/4 second after Nick Patrick calls for the DQ, Bischoff blasts him like in the side.
Yeah, Russo blasts him.
And like Russo blasts him. Yeah. Yeah, in like the arm and side.
So mean.
It was great.
So mean. I mean, obviously
it's a bullshit bat, but like he swung as hard as he could.
Yeah. He wanted to make that shit look real.
Yeah. Like if it was foam, like you still would have felt it.
Right before they go to commercial break, we get the surprise appearance of Tank Abbott.
Yeah.
Which made us all pop.
Yeah.
Which also made us secretly in our deep down inside hoping that we're going to get that Tank Abbott Ming.
We're never getting that match. We're never getting it. But the mention of Tank reminded me we should we definitely don't need to every episode, but we should like
book Tank and then make out with him.
Yes. Yeah, Tank Abbott shoot gay. Found that out last week. Amazing. But periodically, like, check in and give a temperature check on our top 5. Where are we at, top 5 wise? Because I think regrettably Sid is out because he's like gone.
Sid's been gone basically for a while.
Like he's nothing in like post Russo. So I think
he was in the tournament for the title, but jobbed out in the first round,
and that was it. And
then that was it.
Wasn't on the pay-per-view, and hasn't been on the 2 Nitros afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah. So Sid is regrettably out. Tank stays because he's always great, even though he's a terrible promo.
Tank will stay forever.
Tank stays forever
until Tank does something like tries to actually wrestle a match. He's in the top 5 forever.
Yeah.
So it's definitely Tank.
Chronic.
Definitely chronic. I mean, I would still say Norman because he still does something.
Yeah, he's
just not as much.
Yeah, he's on TV, so I think he can stay.
I feel like he's on the pay-per-views more than he's on the Nitro.
Seems to be somehow
because he's always in like
he's a draw.
Hardcore thing.
Yeah.
Or
we were talking about Young Dragons in there, but they haven't done shit since
or 3 count
because
none of those teams.
Russo and Bischoff collectively hate cruiserweights and wrestling.
Yeah,
so that's going to be tough. Although they do actually come back and they'll do some stuff, but
that's literally only 3.
But that's not yet. So who else is?
I mean, we would have said Vampiro until he started having those terrible promos.
Good, yeah.
He was having some decent matches earlier in the year,
as was Kidman.
But now Kidman sucks.
Yeah, heel Kidman's really no good.
Mike Awesome?
He powerbombed Hogan.
He did powerbomb Hogan.
Awesome's in.
Yeah, I think Awesome's in.
And he fucked over ECW.
Yeah.
Alright, Awesome's in. That's 4. Who rounds out the 5? Sir, David Arquette?
I mean, Sid could stay in number 5.
I guess.
He does come back.
Yeah.
And he was awesome earlier in the year.
Sid's just grandfathered into number 5
for now. I don't know that there's anybody else
that we even like.
I mean, that's done anything like.
I want to like Chris Candido, but he's
doing nothing.
He's been given nothing but shit.
You know, and like I want to like Sting, but he's doing nothing but shit. Like
yeah, Sting could have been in there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess for now it's Sid. All right, there's your top 5. We'll check in later.
Anyways, so Tank comes out, cuts the same
Bad promo.
terrible promo he's been cutting for weeks, which is calling out Bill Goldberg for not being there, and until
Still in
Goldberg
the
comes,
hospital.
he's going to beat up somebody. And this week, it is Tank Abbott versus WCW.com, because he beats up all 3 guys who work for WCW.com.
Mostly Bob Ryder.
Bob Ryder gets it the worst. Then Jeremy
Barash, as announced by Tony Schiavone,
tries to make the save.
Yeah, he
also
gets
gets beat
it.
up.
Yeah.
And then the other guy who I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
And then security comes and pulls Tank out like they always do.
Yeah.
Ultimately building to that huge Starrcade Goldberg versus Tank Abbott match that we get.
I bet they never wrestled.
I'm going to say they didn't wrestle.
I don't think they ever wrestled, yeah.
They were never in the same place at the same time. And then when Tank...
I feel like by the time Goldberg comes back, Tank is a member of 3 Count.
Yeah, like he's our biggest fan. All right, this leads us to co-main event. I don't know, whatever.
The cage match with a world title change that isn't the main event is, I believe, what.
Yeah, so it's DDP and Jarrett in the cage because of Arquette beating Bischoff earlier in the night.
Yeah.
DDP comes out and hides on the top of the cage.
Good move, it works.
Until Jarrett comes out, and then when Jarrett goes to get in the cage,
got you, bitch.
Page slams the door on him and then gets him.
It's great.
Broke through the crowd a bit, whatever. They get in the cage. The match is literally nothing. It's just Jarrett throwing DDP Page is taking sideways bumps over the top rope into the cage, landing on the top rope, and then just very gingerly getting back in the ring.
Yeah, and I believe there's a series of run-ins now.
Well, we are reminded that we hate Jeff Jarrett.
So Jarrett's awful. Nothing.
Jarrett's bottom 5.
Nothing about his offense is fun. He literally doesn't do anything other than the one crossbody he did against Steiner.
Yes.
But other than that...
Yeah, where he worked weird de facto face.
But all he does really is punches and clotheslines. That's really all he does.
And weapon shots.
He doesn't do anything.
No.
So at this point, Mike Awesome comes down. Page hits a diamond cutter that Jarrett sells on his knee like a piece of shit.
Doesn't take it well.
Awesome manages to kick and rip off the cage door.
This huge mountain of a man,
9 foot tall,
6 foot 3 inches tall.
As Charles Robinson's counting the 1, 2, and Awesome grabs his arm to stop the count, but as soon as he does, Canyon, making his fourth
save of the night,
comes in and cuts off Awesome, and Lil Nate makes that.
How come
3.
Canyon's getting all this play?
Because he's gay? Oh, not gay play.
Different play.
Because he was the stunt double for Oliver Platt in Ready to Rumble.
Which is why we haven't seen him do shit in 4 months, and now he's all over this.
He's a bad wrestler, and he likes to pack that fudge, so...
Is he... I don't know if he's a bad wrestler.
I think
he likes... When he was Mortis and, early Canyon after Mortis... Again, I don't know if he was good, but he sure did a lot of moves.
Yeah. Sure.
He
was serviceable.
Lots of fun made-up moves.
Yeah.
Everything, he did just a lot of finishers.
Pretty much, yeah.
Didn't you wrestle Joey Ryan in PWG? For the title?
No. He never worked PWG.
I seem to recall there being a surprise match, and it was him versus Joey Ryan. I could be wrong.
You're quite drunk.
You're going to have to look it up.
I'll have to look it up.
Anyways, so this is a title change in the cage that none of us remembered.
No.
Because all know that on Thunder... Arquette wins the title in a tag match.
And it sure makes a lot more sense if he wins it from a heel.
Exactly. So the thing is that it's Bischoff and Jarrett against DDP and Arquette,
and whoever gets
tag
the
match,
pin,
and whoever gets the pin gets the title.
Yeah.
And Arquette pins Bischoff.
But what I remember,
Chris Champagne Canyon versus Joey Ryan.
PWG
half-hour match.
What?
Yeah.
Let me see this.
When?
How do you know it's PWG?
Hold on a second.
Continue
on.
We will continue. So what I remember is DDP celebrating with Arquette when Arquette wins the title.
Yeah.
So DDP is celebrating himself losing the world title
to a non-wrestler.
To Mr. Courtney Cox?
Yeah.
What?
And then immediately losing it back to a heel and turning heel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh boy!
You don't say that nobody knows how to book in 2000 WCW. This is weird. I did not remember that change.
No.
Didn't. I thought
No.
Jarrett goes into the Thunder match as the champion.
No, I would have bet you money that...
Doesn't say when, it just says Canyon appeared in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla to take on PWG champion Joey Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I stand corrected.
Joey Ryan retained the title with help of distraction by someone wearing a Mortis outfit.
I have zero recollection of that.
It was either 06 or 05.
Yeah, I'd be in there doing Joey's world title reign.
Yeah.
Huh, fuck me. Yeah, I got nothing
Gotcha.
for that. Yeah, you got me. You got me, friend.
I'm not a friend.
I would have bet money that Jarrett was the champion when Arquette won it, but all right, he wins it from his tag team partner.
So now, you would like to think, hey,
That this was the end of Nitro.
the top babyface ending the show winning the title would be how you end the show.
No,
No, here's the reason why. Main event.
there was a reason.
Vampiro and Sting in a First Blood match,
Mhm.
which. So Vampiro comes to the ring, lights go out,
Yeah,
same way that it's done the last couple times.
yeah.
Sting shoots down from the rafters again, like he's done. Only this way was a lot slower and softer.
Almost 1 full year after Owen Hart has died.
Yeah. Gets stuck on the harness.
For a long time.
Is struggling to get off it.
Oh, yeah.
Vampiro runs out to the rampway to fight him while he's still struggling to get unattached. Does get manage to get it unhooked as Vampiro gets to him. They brawl in the ring. Nothing happens.
No.
Vampiro gets him down in the ring, crawls out of the ring and gets on the announce table. Then does his throat cutty hand gestures, and then
Hand gestures are pretty cool.
and then a bunch of blood pours
Hold
down
on.
from the. Sorry.
Easy, big fella.
It looks like blood.
But what is it?
It's some sort of
It's a mysterious red substance.
Red liquid?
Yeah.
What does it smell like, Tony? What does it smell?
The announcers, for some reason beyond all of our comprehension, will not call it blood.
No reference, even though it is a first blood
match. And that was the end of the match, right? What's the official result of this match?
I think it was. I don't think it even.
Not?
I think it was
First
just
blood.
Not a match?
no
First
contest. I guess.
Yeah, it was just like
And a lot of shit poured. There is a large puddle.
a huge puddle.
In
It's
the
like
ring.
it's like almost half of the canvas.
Yes. That you can't stand on because it's too slippery.
No,
Oh,
and Sting
and-
tries to get up and
and he's slipping all over the
eat shit a
place.
bunch of times, and then
Vampiro, who decides
to
to fly real close to the sun,
Yeah.
tries to give Sting his finisher.
and
He
does,
Well,
but it's
no.
ginger.
He gets him up horizontal.
Yeah.
He gets him up world's strongest slam and,
And
then
then-
turns it into his finisher. He
Well,
does not.
no, he doesn't. He gets him up world
And
Strongest
sits
Slam
down.
and sits down
Yeah.
with him
Yeah.
throwing him to the side. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
it's like what the
It's the
fuck?
safest way to do it in the blood.
Yeah.
Without getting up and then being like, whoa, Sting's paralyzed.
Yeah.
In, a year after Owen Hart was dead in the ring. And then New Blood runs out. They all beat up Sting.
Anything with Sting and Buff Bagwell?
Nope, nothing happened. So the New Blood got in the ring, and they were trying to get Sting out of the ring, and there was one moment where you could tell that Buff did not want to go down in the blood.
He legitimately
He was holding-
Marcus Bagwell the person, not Buff Bagwell the
Yeah,
character.
he was holding-
Did not want to get shit on his jeans.
He was holding the rope very tightly.
He was wearing nice jeans.
Yeah, he was holding the rope very tightly, and Sting crawled over and dragged him to the ground in the blood.
And he was pissed.
And when Buff got up, he looked fucking pissed.
You fucked up my jeans,
yeah,
bro.
he was so mad.
Yeah.
I bet you good Christian Sting bought him a new pair of jeans.
I bet he did.
And then they drag him out of the ring. Sting, of course, wrestled this whole match with the harness on still, which we were kind of like, why isn't he taking the harness off? Here's the reason why.
Because-
They hooked him back up and then lifted him off the ground 6 feet, something like that.
Not even.
Yeah, not even 4 feet.
Yeah.
And just let him dangle there dead. Covered in red liquidy substance.
Who's to say what?
Red syrup.
And I thought they were going to lift him all the way up. And
I
I'm
was
like,
terrified of
I
that.
would
Yeah.
not trust those goons to fucking hook me up properly to a.
Absolutely not.
Could you
to a
imagine if Sting died almost a year after Owen Hart died from falling from some kind of apparatus?
Would WCW have ended any sooner?
No.
No.
No one cares.
I love
They continued a pay-per-view after Owen Hart died.
in no hypothetical scenario can we figure out a way for WCW to die even sooner than it did.
David Arquette wins the title in 3 days.
3 days.
Nothing will kill it.
Yeah, it's
The
amazing.
only thing that will kill it is the people that own the company that it's on television for, realizing, hey, wrestling's dumb and gay. Let's get
This
it off
can't
the TV.
be on television anymore. That's it.
And could you imagine that Bischoff almost managed to buy it
Yeah.
and keep it alive?
That would have been something.
Like, he was so close to keeping it alive.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, it didn't, and we got the best thing ever, The Invasion.
The Invasion, which of course will be our next podcast, where we go in depth on each of the 4 weekly WWF television shows during that period. Right?
Yes.
We do Raw, SmackDown, Heat, Velocity.
Was it Velocity or was it...
Jacked /Metal.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, it's been 45 minutes. Bye-bye.